Today, we're going to be going over why functional labs are essential for healing. So, my name is Megan Davey. I'm an integrative healing practitioner, owner of Harmony Hive Integrative Healing. And today, I just want to go over why the functional labs play such a key part to getting all the puzzle pieces needed in order to figure out what's going on. So, if you're somebody who's been dealing with chronic fatigue, muscle pains, depression, anxiety, and all of the time, every single time, doesn't matter what issue it is that you're going to the doctor for, if it's headaches, recurring UTIs, or if it's poor sleep, you're looking for help. And often you'll have labs run and they will just come back and tell you that everything looks normal. So if this is you, then this video is also going to be for you. And I'm going to help to explain what the functional lab component can do and how it can actually give us answers and help to get you right on the right track to start to heal your body. All right, so to start off, we have genetics. I use the basic ancestry kit. You can get it for $99 US. It often goes on sale. So if that's something that you're concerned about, then you can just pay attention to sales. With this one, it is really important because it's just that like one of those pieces to the puzzle that helps everything fit together. And it is helping us to see how our brain is breaking things down. It's showing us our dopamine. It's showing us our serotonin, our GABA receptors. It's showing us our detoxification pathways. And what it's going to be doing is it's going to be showing us whether or not we are breaking things down too quickly or too slowly or at a regular rate. So for example, I put this here because I'm a visual learner and I just feel that it's helpful. So right here, you can see at the very beginning, it is the COMT mutation. So this is a plus minus mutation. So what I want you to do is visualize a funnel. Our plus minus mutations are going to be showing that we are flowing through at a normal rate. Okay. And then the plus plus mutations is going to be like your funnel is smaller. So it's like very slow to get it. And then if you have a minus minus mutation, it's a larger funnel. So things are going by really, really quickly. This is important information to know because let's just say that you are somebody who is having a really difficult time with being driven. You feel that your dopamine is low. You would like some more energy and you want to try to stimulate and try to get more support for your dopamine so that you can feel more productive and that you could feel in a better place. If you have a COMT++ mutation, and so we're having that funnel that breaks things down really, really slowly, if you add extra dopamine to something that's funneling through really slowly, you are going to end up increasing anxiety. You are going to end up giving yourself quite the experience there. It's not going to feel good to your body. And this is why genetics is super important to know what it is. So we are going to be looking at specifically, like I said, our dopamine, our serotonin, our GABA receptors, and detoxification pathways, because we don't want to be supporting anything without knowing what these genes are, what mutations you have, so that we can make sure that when we are supplementing, we are giving your body what it needs. All right, next up again, I have it up on the screen so that you could see it. So the next up would be our oats test. So this is our organic acids test. This one is such an amazing powerhouse because it's going to be showing us, like if you see there, your yeast and fungal markers. It's going to be showing us whether or not there's mold. So in any of these orange areas here, if those are elevated levels, then we'll be able to tell you that you need to be testing for mold, which is really, really important because it shows up there. We have bacteria markers, we have candida markers. It's also giving us oxalate markers. It's going to be showing you what your mitochondrial functions are, if that's working well, or if there's some deficiency there. It's going to be showing us the neurotransmitter metabolite. So again, this is showing you how things are breaking down. So this is why the genetic component is really important, because if you are the COMT mutation and we're seeing that it's not correlating with our oats test, then we know whether or not we need to be supporting it, right? So we want our genetics to align with our oats. So it's going to be showing you also here your serotonin levels. So this one is showing that it is high, right? So it's that way we know what actually needs to be supported so that we're not just going in blind. We don't want to be throwing paint at walls and hoping it's going to stick. We want to know exactly what we're doing, okay? So yeah, you have your ketone markers and you have your nutritional markers, and it's going to be able to show us all of whether like what you have deficiency in. It's going to be showing us our mineral deficiencies and things like that. So the last test for the entire foundation test would be our blood work. I go with the comprehensive wellness panel. So what this is going to be showing us is it's going to be showing us our entire thyroid panel, and it's also going to be showing us our iron levels, your lipid panel, everything's in there. And we're looking for optimal ranges. So the ranges that I'm going to be looking at are going to be different than what your doctor would be looking at, because with having a smaller range, we can have our body feeling a lot more optimally when we are being a lot more nitpicky with what our numbers are. So once we have our three things together, we have our genetics. Then with a protocol I'd be looking through your genetics and writing it in a summary for you to understand, explaining what each mutation does. I would be doing the same thing with the blood work summary and the same thing with the oat summary. And with those three foundations, we are creating our foundation protocol. And once we have the protocol, then we'll be able to implement these things for a minimum of a month. Once we have all the foundation on board, then we are going to let our body rest. Nobody ever wants to do it, but it's the most important step and we can't skip it. So we need to give our body the time and the tools that it needs. So the time being the minimum of 30 days of the foundation protocol, and the tools are going to be the supplements that we've implemented in our protocol, our customized protocol, to balance out the dysfunction before we move on to the next step, which would be the Dutch test. So often there isn't actually the issues with the hormones. So what we're looking for in the Dutch test is going to be our adrenals and our sex hormones. And we are going to be seeing this through a urine test, and it's going to be showing us the metabolites. So again, it's going to be showing us how our body is breaking things down, how the body is absorbing things, and what it's excreting. So this is a really, really good test as opposed to the blood test or the saliva test. We get to just see the metabolites and we get a really better picture at what our body is still lacking. Because often what ends up happening is when we have our foundation protocol on board, and because we've done the oats test and because we've done the blood work and because we know our genetics, when we have our basic protocol down, our foundation protocol, what often happens is the hormones can balance on their own. Now, this isn't the case for everybody, but because we can bring a lot of things into balance with our foundation protocol, then when we get to the Dutch test, there isn't a lot of extra work that needs to be done. We're just going to be adding in a few things that haven't been able to correct due to the foundation, and we'll be able to then correct it with what we see in the Dutch. This is my favorite part. So normally when we get done our foundation protocol, you've done that for the 30 days, you have your Dutch, you've implemented anything additionally that you need to. This is where you're going to really start to feel better. You're going to start to have a lot of your symptoms are going to dissipate. You're not going to feel them as much anymore, because once we start putting the puzzle pieces together and we can start to align the dysfunction and we supplement where the deficiencies are, your symptoms are going to start to go away. You're going to start to be feeling a lot better. And so normally when we are done with the Dutch and we have that on board, we move into the phase 3 detox. So most likely we're going to want to rerun the blood tests first to make sure that there isn't any additional tweaking that needs to be done before we go into the gut. Because if we are wanting to do any type of detoxification, it is extremely important that we make sure that our detox pathways are firing and working properly, and that the supplementations that we've been doing has been preparing our detox pathways well enough that if we're going to go into detoxing, we want to make sure that we are detoxing it well and that it's not just traveling around somewhere else in the body. We want to make sure that whatever we're trying to get out comes out. So moving on to gut work, what we're going to do is we are going to want to first start by adding in a biofilm buster. Now, the reason for this is because a lot of the times when people go into gut work, they will do their labs and the test will come back with a false negative. And the reason for this is because these pathogens that are hiding in the gut like to hide in the biofilm. So we need to be breaking that up first so that we can see it in our labs. So we'll want to be doing the biofilm buster for about 2 weeks. We run the para-wellness test because then we also want to be addressing the parasites and the protozoa. Usually it isn't the parasites that are causing the issues, it's the protozoa causing all of the imbalances in the gut. They also create the autoimmune issues in the body. And of course, we don't want any parasites, protozoa there. So we are going to be creating then the 3-month protocol if it's seen. We will be using the biofilm buster throughout and in different cycling of antiparasitics to make sure that we don't create any resistance. Once we're done that, we then stop all of the antiparasitics and we continue the biofilm buster, and then we run the GI map. So this is going to show us if we've been successful, and it's also going to show us our bacteria levels. So the H. pylori levels and the yeast levels and other markers as well. So those are the labs that I run, and this is why the functional labs are essential for your healing, to get all the puzzle pieces in place in order to help you to feel better and to heal naturally. So we are doing our genetics, our blood work, our foundation, along with the oats. We're going to then go into the Dutch, where we will be doing some retesting before we go into gut work. Once we go into the gut work, we're going to do the para-wellness test and then the GI map. So if you are looking for a practitioner, you can go to my website at www.harmonyhiveintegrativehealing.com, and then you can go to my approach. From there, you'll be able to see the Heal Yourself program. You'll be able to take a look at my packages, and then at the very bottom, you'll be able to book a free health assessment. I look forward to hearing from you.